Hey friends, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, my name is Ashley and today I'm here to do my January wrap up. I am pretty happy with how this year has started. Let me just tell you the stats first of all of the things that I read. In the month of January, I read 5 books. 3 of those were physical, 2 of them were ebooks. All of them I owned, but 2 of them were given to me as ARCs from NetGalley. I read 1,858 pages. 3 of the books were adult, 2 were YA, and 2 of them were also Christian fiction. Average rating for the month was 4.35, which is pretty darn high for me. Those are all the stats. So let's jump in and tell you what I read. The first book that I completed in the month of January, I actually started back in October. I read probably about 40% of it and then I set it down and didn't pick it up again until the very end of December, like maybe the 30th, 31st, something like that, and then I finished it the first few days of January. But that was Weyward by Amelia Hart, and this is a book that was recommended to me by my bestie, and she absolutely loves this book. Like, this is one of her all-time favorite books ever, and I liked it pretty well, honestly. This was such a good feel of a book. It had a very nice, I would say atmosphere, but it wasn't the atmosphere of the book. It was the atmosphere of me reading the book and just the feeling it gave me. I really loved it. This is a story about a family. It takes place in 3 different generations through the years, and one of them is back in the 1600s, one of them is in late 1800s, I believe, something like that, and then one is a more current timeline. It's just about that woman finding out the history of what happened to her ancestors and her mother and all of those things, and I love this so much. It takes place in England, I believe, and I want to say that she is yes, she is an English author. I generally do not care for English authors as a whole most of the time. Every once in a while I'll get one that I really enjoy. There's been a couple others, this one included, and so I am just really looking forward to reading Sirens now. I hope I love it as much. This just has this cozy feel to it, and I loved it. I rated this 4.5 stars. I'm super glad I picked that up on recommendation. The next book that I finished was an ebook, and it was an ARC from NetGalley called Room to Breathe by Casey West. Casey West is an author that I've read quite a bit in the past. I have probably 8 or 9 of her books on my shelves. I've read about half, probably a little more, and I've always really enjoyed them. My daughter really loves reading Casey West. She's 15. They're just super sweet, clean, good reads for teen girls. This one is, I think, one of her newest YA books. I did enjoy it. I think it was probably not her best YA novel, but that might also just be my age playing into that factoring. I am actually considering giving all of my Casey West books to my daughter, just because I do enjoy to read them, but I don't end up rereading them and stuff and care to have them on my shelves necessarily, so I may still read them, but I probably won't be collecting them anymore. Anyways, this is about a girl who gets locked in the bathroom at school with a boy that they used to be best friends and now they're enemies, and they both get locked in there over a weekend. You have to kind of suspend your belief a little bit, but other than that, it was a cute read. I really liked how they worked through their situation together. It was good. I rated it 4 stars. The next book that I picked up in the month of January was a book for Laura's Lovely Library's book club, and this year she's starting all clean and closed door reads for her book club, and this was the first choice for 2026, When the Day Comes by Gabrielle Meyer, and I was so happy to hear this book picked. My husband gifted me this for my birthday. My birthday was in September, so I haven't had this all that long and I hadn't picked it up. Been hearing everybody talk about this, but I wasn't really sure how I was gonna like it. I just didn't really know much what it was about. It probably would have taken me a lot longer to actually read this, and this was so good. I'll tell you right now, rated it 5 stars. This is the first in the Timeless series, which I believe there's 6 7 books out now, and then I heard something about there's going to be 10. This is about a girl who lives 2 different timelines. Like, she lives one day in the 1800s, and then she lives one day in like 1960s or something like that. And at the age of 21, she's going to have to pick which timeline she wants to continue her life in. She has an idea of which one she wants to choose if she had a choice. There's just things that happen in both timelines that you're like, how is she going to choose? How is she going to choose which one? This was just so good. I loved this so much, and it ended up with a twist at the end that I did not see coming. I am curious to know if anyone has read some more of these books in the series. All of the stories are about these people that live 2 timelines and have to choose. Are these interconnected standalones, or do they like connect in more ways? I don't know. I have no idea what to expect from the next book in the series. Like, if it's the same type of story but with different characters. What? I don't know. Please let me know what you know without spoilers in the comments down below. But yes, highly recommend. The next book that I finished was another arc from NetGalley called The Charmed List by Julie Abe. At the time that this was released back in 2023, it may have been her first. I'm not really quite sure. This has been on my Kindle for a while, and I finally picked it up, and I actually really liked it. I know I had been really looking forward to it when I requested it from NetGalley. It's about a girl who is magical, like her family is magical and they own a magical shop. But at the same time, it's kind of like Harry Potter, where the magical world is a secret from the rest of the world. She has to take some of the shop goods to her magical convention. Her best friend is supposed to go with her, but her best friend is not magical, so she doesn't know. But then she finds out, and it's like this big issue. Like, there's all these things that they have to now deal with. She ends up taking this road trip with someone else because of all of these things. And so most of the story is about the road trip to the convention and at the convention. I just gotta say, this magic world is so cool. I think there is a second book to this like little duology, which I've never heard anyone talk about either one of these, but I loved it. There were a couple things I didn't like. Those knocked down like half a star, and there was some weird like pacing thing, but other than that, the actual magical world was so creative and so different. This is a YA novel, so it is plain for teens to read. It was just so much fun. In the end, I rated it 3.75 stars, but the memory of it is so much higher that I think I might have to bump it up to a 4-star because I did really love this magical system. The last book that I completed in the month of January is Bridge to Haven by Francine Rivers, and I read this with the Francine Rivers book club with Oshina at Oshina Reads Co. I actually was not able to jump on the live show or watch it yet, so I still have to go and watch that. I'm super interested to hear about this book because I, again, loved this book so much. This is a Christian fiction. Francine Rivers is a very prolific Christian author. She's the one who wrote Redeeming Love, which I have read a couple times before. This is only the second book I've read by her. As I'm reading this book, I loved it like so much. I got to about, I want to say probably 3/4, maybe a little further into the book, and there was just this shift. It was quite dramatic, and that's because of the plot line, but at the same time the pacing kind of changed. It's understandable, but at the same time it just felt like a different kind of feel. For that reason, I took half a star off. Up through the first half of the book or so, it was so good. I was like, it's not up there with Kristen Hanna quite, but like my enjoyment level was almost that high. That's saying a lot, but I loved it so much. Until that little shift, and with that shift at the end came the rest of our story, and that was to be expected, but I just felt like it really just wrapped up with a pretty little bow way too easily. I don't mind those happy endings, but that flip-flop was just too dramatic, I guess. I don't know how else to explain it, but I highly recommend. Love this. 4.5 stars. I did end up starting one more book at the end of January, and I didn't finish it. That is Water for Elephants by Sarah Gruen. This one's been on my TBR for years and years and years. And then last summer, fall, we went to visit my grandma and my dad, and she recommended this book to me. And so I went ahead and I actually purchased it, and I've started reading it. I want to say like 38% of the way through. And this one is like, it's good, but it's also just okay. And I'll tell you why I say that. The story I am really enjoying. The language and like the vulgarity of some of the scenes I'm not enjoying. Like, I've literally crossed out some of the lines and I'm like, I don't want to read this. I'm actually annotating it, and you probably can't see my writing too much because the pen is kind of light, but like there's been a couple times where I was like, I don't want to know. I don't want to read this, and like cross lines out. And I guess that's because it's coming from the perspective of a man in the early 1900s. I guess like maybe how they talked, and like, but even still, some of the story, I'm like, I don't want to know this. Like, maybe it's going to play an important part. Maybe it's just showing the world from this guy's perspective, because he's not really partaking in vulgar acts. It's just what he is seeing going on around him. I don't like that part. But I'm hoping that it will all come together and show me why it was necessary or something like that. But otherwise, I am really enjoying the story. It is very atmospheric. I love circuses. I love reading about circuses. Coming up in September, I'm actually going to be doing Circus September and reading circus books, but I spun this on my spinner wheel in my January TBR, which is why I'm reading it now and not holding it until then. I have plenty of circus books for that. Anyways, that is all I have for you today. I am really happy with the books that I've read. Just overall a really great month. Let me know in the comments down below if you have read any of these and what you thought of them. I would love to talk about them with you. I have a whole new stack of books that I am reading in February that I spun for on my TBR, and I can't wait to see if I read them all and then be able to tell you about them as well. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!